In this Ventra Pro video, we're going to show you how to set up a sidewall inlet group. The easiest way to get to your sidewall inlet group is to push the hotkey associated with that inlet. Pressing the hotkey, we now have the sidewall inlet group number 1 settings on the screen. The first thing we're going to set is operate as. By pressing enter and the plus and minus button, you can scroll through the list of the different options you have of how the sidewall inlet group will operate. In this case, since we are using static pressure in our barn and we only have one sidewall inlet group, we're going to operate this inlet group as static natural only. Natural in this case is referring to a power ventilated barn. I press enter, menu arrow down. Now we're going to set the full opening size of our inlets. In this example, they're 9 inches to be fully open. Arrow down. Now we're going to set our full travel time in minutes and seconds. In this case, it takes about 43 seconds for our inlets to completely open. Arrow down again. Now we set our full close travel time. And again, 43 seconds to completely close these inlets. Make sure you do check with the stopwatch how long it takes to completely open and close your inlets so that this number is correct. Now we go down to our pre-open timer. The pre-open timer will begin to open the inlets up to 1 minute before the fans come on to help not have a large static pressure draw when your minimum vent fans first come on. "10 to 15 seconds is kind of a rule of thumb for your pre-open timer, but you can set it up to 1 minute. Arrow down. Now we are going to set the tunnel entry size and exit size. So since we are using a tunnel ventilated barn, we now can set the inlets, the sidewall inlets, to open a certain percentage or a certain number of inches when the barn goes into tunnel and when the barn comes out of tunnel. So in this case, when we are entering tunnel, I am going to set it for 9 inches, which means my sidewall inlets will be fully open as we enter tunnel. Now as we are exiting tunnel, I am going to, just to help with potential static pressure, I'm going to open the inlets 4 inches while it exits tunnel. Once it exits tunnel, it will then adjust the static pressure and the sidewall inlets will open to the appropriate amount based off the static pressure. Arrow down again, and now we can set our perform resync. This is a time of day that you can set for the sidewall inlet group to be tested to make sure that it is in the right position. This will only be functioning if the inlets have not been completely open or completely closed in the last 24 hours. So if you wanted to set your inlets to resync at say 8 a.m. in the morning, you set that for 8 o'clock, and then the Ventra Pro would either fully open or fully close those inlets at 8 a.m. every morning if they have not been fully open or fully closed in the last 24 hours. That's just to kind of self-calibrate to make sure they are still in calibration. Now the static pressure pause timer. You can set this static pressure pause timer to a specific amount so that when their fans are running and you have static pressure, if somebody opens a door or if something happens, you have a pause before the vents are going to adjust themselves to prevent seesawing effect with your inlets opening and closing, opening and closing, opening and closing. 10 seconds is kind of a rule of thumb for that also. And now we are back to the beginning, and we have now set our Ventra Pro sidewall inlet group.